We're in Smith's Ferry of Holyoke, Massachusetts, and up this road, which used to be the old road called Northampton Street, which is still mostly there as Route 5, but at 4 different locations it used to go off of what you expected. And this is one of those locations. This road used to be Northampton Street, but you can hear by the traffic it's diverted over to about 60 feet to our right. And then up there is also Delaney House and other the restaurant and the D Hotel, so forth. And we're mostly here to show you the Smith's Ferry Cemetery. The Smith family itself started this in 1808, and you can see that one part is separate from the other parts, and that's because the Long-Time State Reservation didn't need this land, and it donated to the Smith family cemetery. And it was so big, it doubled the size of the entire cemetery, and they used it to cut in a road for the cemetery. So you can see in front of us a portion that's cut off. That was about 1942 that happened. Then you can see a road. This is officially the cemetery's only entrance and exit road. It goes to the back of the burial sites, so workers or people going into the cemetery can use this. And it was never made to be part of the actual burial grounds, and that was good because they needed a place to park and so forth. Now we can see the beginning of the Smith's Ferry Cemetery. There's a very big stone there. You can see a very big stone there. That very big stone is a person that used to live in Holyoke but commute to Greenfield every day. And what they did was they were jewelers, and he worked up in Greenfield. He died of a heart attack, and then he came and he was buried here. He's one of the very few above ground burials within the city of Holyoke. There are 3 mausoleums in Holyoke at the Forestdale Cemetery, but this one is in the family cemetery. It's very unusual. I think his name was William Boland. And now that spot is very important to me because behind that, about 10 to 12 feet behind him, is one of the few known Native American burials. And that Native American was found near the river in this area. He's one of 2 Native Americans not found near Depot Square of Holyoke. And he was given a burial out here. Now, behind that one is a statue form of a gravestone monument. That's the Underwood family. The William Underwood and all his sons and daughters, his grandchildren, great-grandchildren are all buried there. Now he is from East Hampton, but this used to be a part of Northampton until 1909. So when he lived here, this was pretty much Northampton's land. He lived in a strip of land that East Hampton had given Northampton had given East Hampton. So he was a Civil War veteran. He made it through the war. He saved many lives at one point. But he came back and he resumed being a farmer. This time, instead of Belchtown, he came to East Hampton. And all his many sons and daughters served in the wars. His grandchildren did, his great-grandchildren did. That's why on such a day as this, Veterans Day of the year 2023, you can see a lot of flags around the Underwood stone. Now, the monument is made out of a zinc compound, and it's not very common, but there's a few of them around. His parents are buried at the Mount Hope Cemetery in Belchtown with a zinc monument. He must have liked them. He got that for him, and he ended up getting this for his wife here. And then when he died, he had it for his monument. Now, as we go along the cemetery, in the middle part is where the many residents of Smith's family are buried. And that, of course, is the Smith family. And that family had, I believe, 7 sons and 4 daughters. Most of them stayed around the area. One of them ended up running the ferry, but that wasn't their main job in life. Most of the Smith members were apple cider vinegar farmers, and there used to be many apple trees on the sides of this mountain, Mount Tom Range. And they did it to the point that the whole family of 5 sons and the father did it. Now, there's other burials in the cemetery, and I do tour through that cemetery and give you all the very many details about it. Also in the cemetery are other members. The first person buried there is not a Smith family member. Her name was Rachel Parsons, but she lived in the neighborhood, and she began the first burial on land that was donated by the Smith family for a cemetery. Now, if you look across the street, you can see the railroad tracks, and that's the Connecticut River line. You can also see Route 5 in front of us. That modern part was put in to make it safer. And then you can also see, if you have great eyes, some metal glint, and that's solar panels. The federal government gave Holyoke money to build solar panel fields, and they built 19 of them, and this is the biggest one by far. And the reason why is because they shut down the Mount Tom coal plant, and for compensation, the federal government gave them these solar panels. And beyond, of course, it's Connecticut River. And so this is a great stop within Smith Ferry. You get to meet the whole neighborhood, and most especially the Smith Ferry Cemetery, which is going to have many stops with video stops that I will do. Thank you very much.